Good day viewers, welcome to another edition of the Daily Strange Stories. I'm John Brown. I trust you've navigated the start of the week with energy and optimism. Our lead story for today. Family members say Nathi Mthethwa was killed, refute French police's report that he jumped to his death, close associates say he knew he was about to die, and told them about his death just before he disappeared from home. Imagine receiving a phone call that shatters your world. That's what happened to the family of Nathi Mthethwa, South Africa's ambassador to France, when they learned of his death in Paris. But the official narrative doesn't sit right with them. They believe he was murdered. The investigation into the death of Nkosinathi Emmanuel Nathi Mthethwa, South Africa's envoy to France, is far from over. While French authorities point to suicide, his family is demanding answers, convinced that he was the victim of foul play and that a cover-up is currently in motion. But there are other, more unsettling details emerging, reports of ghost visions, premonitions of death that Mthethwa shared with his closest confidants. What do these visions mean? And why is the family so certain that he didn't take his own life? We're examining every angle, every piece of evidence, to uncover the truth behind this puzzling and tragic case. The family's stance has grown stronger in recent days, with members expressing doubt over the official account from French authorities. They point to inconsistencies and a lack of clear evidence, suggesting that foul play cannot be ruled out.
Iqiniso lithi asikakaze sithola ukubikelwa ngendlela eright ehloniphekile njengomndeni wala ekhaya kwaMthethwa. Kodwa nje sesizwa nathi kwi-social media, kwi-TV, luze lwashona kusuku lwayizola akekho umuntu oke wafika ukuzobika ukuthi kwenzekeni kanjani, ngaphandle kokuthi ikhehla la ekhaya ubaba uthole ucingo kusibari emtshela ukuthi ubhuti udukile. Kwase kuba ukuthi ngekhaza semini wayesemfonela futhi ubaba efonela yena usibari kwase kuba ukuthi ke uyasho ukuthi sebemtholile kodwa ke useshonile. Ngicabanga ukuthi besilindele ukuthi emveni kwaleza ndaba esizwile likwazi ukungena la ekhaya lisicacisele ukuthi kwenzekeni kanjani, information ngesikhathi ifika. Ngicabanga ukuthi bekufanele ifikele eoffice lika national, bese kuba yilaba kwazi khona before bekhiphe lento yendabeni kube ukuthi umndeni okuyithi thina sila siyakwazi sesiyazi ukuthi kwenzekeni, singezwa nathi njengabantu ungathithi akusiyena umuntu wakithi, kodwa ke asiblame umuntu ngalokho ngoba eSouth Africa sekwenzeka izinto ngalendlela ezenzeka ngayo. Kodwa iqiniso lithi siyafisa namanje futhi dadewethu ukuthi iqembu lakhe umfowethu ebelithanda ngenhliziyo yakhe yonke, ebelisebenzela, siyafisa ukuthi lixhumane nathi njengomndeni, lisibeke esithombeni nje ukuthi kwenzakalani, ngoba okunye ngesikwazi ukukhuluma nje manje noma ngisengikhambela phambili ukuthi kungabe kuhlelwana ukusuka manje kuya phambili. Asiwazi ukusho lutho because silinde iqembu kube yilona elifikayo bese lisitshela ukuthi selizombuyisa ngale lunini usuku lokumbuyisa, and then kunini ke la ungaqalwa khona ukukhulunywa indaba yokuhlelelwa komngcwabo. Ngiyabonga.
Lezi zinto enzathanda ukuthi ngiyithinte. Eyokuqala sithe sisathintwe ubhuti kaMakoti, esesazisa njena ukuthi undodana usedlulile emhlabeni. Sathi masithi siphuthuma ekhaya, sithe sifika lapha ekhaya indaba isigcwele zonke inkalo nomndeni usuyayazi. Kwalimaza kakhulu komndeni lokho, kwalimaza nathi uqobo. Asibanga sisakwazi ukuthi sichaze inkulumo le besinikwe yona ngoba umndeni bonke abantu emphakathini bese basu bahlula thina besitshela indaba.
Mthethwa's relatives have welcomed the arrival of South African investigators in France, hoping this step will uncover the truth they seek. His brother, Khulekani Mthethwa, has shared that the family remains focused on getting all the facts, emphasizing that their pursuit is about clarity rather than distrust. With loved ones gathered in their village home in Bongani, on the north coast of KwaZulu-Natal, they await updates from those on the ground in Paris, including Mthethwa's widow, Philisiwe Buthelezi, who has been handling matters there firsthand.
Difficult times for the family, even more difficult for my sister. she's trying under the circumstances. I think the good thing is that you've got some family members as well who actually, were assisting in terms of comforting her. My brother, Dr. Sfiso Buthelezi, as you know, he has been there since Tuesday morning last week. And fortunately, my daughter as well. She actually works in Paris for BNP Paribas. So on the first day when we heard about the passing away of our brother-in-law, she was also the first one to be there to go and actually comfort her aunt. So family helps a lot. Difficult as it is, difficult for my sister. But obviously we know that at the end of the day, it is what it is, whatever happened. We just want answers so that we can have closure on this chapter. Thank you. I think with all the challenges which we are experiencing and the delays, at the end of the day, his body has to come back to South Africa. When, nobody knows exactly, but from the discussions that we have been having with the authorities in France, that actually promised by tomorrow, latest by Tuesday. Obviously, as you know, there has to be an autopsy completed before they can actually hand over the body to the family.
What makes this case even more compelling is the revelation from one of Mthethwa's close associates, who has described a phone conversation that took place shortly after the ambassador went missing from his official residence. In that call, Mthethwa spoke of a strange experience during the night, a flashing light that appeared while he slept, followed by an image of his father, who passed away many years ago. The father, according to the account, called out to Mthethwa, inviting him to join in the ancestral realm. This detail has sparked discussions among those who knew him, with some wondering if it indicated a premonition or perhaps an ignored ancestral calling that weighed heavily on his mind. The associate has suggested that such thoughts might have played a role in his state of mind, though they stress it as just one piece of a larger puzzle. Even if external forces were involved, as the family suspects, it appears Mthethwa had some foreknowledge of what was coming. Family spokesperson Sfiso Buthelezi has addressed these cultural elements openly, noting that conversations about ancestors hold no stigma in their traditions. He has explained that Mthethwa, known for his deep roots in Zulu customs, often embraced such topics without hesitation. During his wedding, for instance, Mthethwa insisted on following traditional Zulu rituals after the Christian ceremony, showcasing his pride in heritage. Buthelezi has added that within the family, discussions of cultural roots happen freely, making it unsurprising that Mthethwa might have shared such a vision with trusted friends. A government source who spent time with him has echoed this, recalling Mthethwa's extensive knowledge of history and tradition. On one occasion, while visiting a graveyard for African soldiers from World War II, Mthethwa spoke thoughtfully about uncollected spirits, expressing concern that some souls remained unrested without family rituals to guide them home. This insight into his character paints a picture of a man attuned to the spiritual world, which now adds layers to the mystery of his final days. The events leading up to Mthethwa's death began to unfold on a Monday afternoon when his wife last saw him, as he prepared for a cocktail event. That evening, she received a troubling message from his phone, in which he apologized and indicated an intent to end his life. Alarmed, she alerted authorities when he did not return home by late night. His body was found the next morning on the pavement outside the 137-meter-tall Hyatt Regency Hotel in Paris, where he had checked in. French prosecutors have confirmed the message's content, but the family questions whether it truly came from him or if coercion was involved. They highlight how technology can be manipulated, pointing out that messages might appear authentic even under duress. Details from the preliminary French investigation have emerged, revealing that Mthethwa booked the hotel room on September 15 for a stay from September 28 to 29. He later changed it to September 29 to 30, checking in on the first of those dates. Security footage from the hotel shows him entering the room alone, with no one else accessing it before or after. Investigators have reviewed the cameras thoroughly, confirming no signs of entry by others, which they say rules out immediate suspicions of someone waiting inside or entering later. A pair of scissors is believed to have been used to force open the window on the 22nd floor, from which he fell. Personal items, including a hat, coat, and remote control, were later handed over to his wife as preparations for repatriating his remains continue. French authorities have stated they will not release the body until the cause of death is fully determined, with an autopsy report expected soon. In response to the family's concerns and the high-profile nature of the case, South Africa's acting police minister, Professor Firoz Kachelia, has deployed a team of 5 experienced investigators to France. Led by Major General Bongani Maqhashalala, the Deputy Provincial Commissioner for Crime Detection in the Western Cape, this group has arrived to collaborate with French law enforcement. The move marks an unprecedented step, as government officials note it is the first time a South African ambassador has died in the host country under such circumstances. The team aims to support the ongoing probe, ensuring transparency and gathering details that might address the family's unanswered questions. National Police spokesperson Brigadier Atshenda Mathe has indicated that the officers will receive briefings from French counterparts upon arrival, though specifics of their tasks and return timeline remain undecided. This international cooperation has restored some hope for the family, who gather in their Gwambonambi village, relying on updates from Paris. Khulekani Mthethwa has explained that while they appreciate the French efforts, having South African experts involved provides a direct line to information, helping them piece together what happened. The government is also managing funeral arrangements, with briefings promised to the family soon. Amid the grief, Mthethwa's brother has called for sensitivity, criticizing the spread of baseless claims on social media that add to their pain. Mthethwa's life story adds depth to this unfolding drama, tracing back to his early days in the township of Klaarwater, in Mariannhill, west of Durban. Born Nkosinathi Emmanuel Mthethwa, he grew up in a place marked by hardship, where the community resisted incorporation into the apartheid-era KwaZulu government. This defiance brought retaliation from authorities, who withheld basic developments like proper electricity and sanitation. Residents lived in small 2-bedroom homes, often called matchbox houses, and relied on bucket toilets until ablution blocks were built in the mid-1980s. Electricity was limited mostly to streetlights, leaving homes in the dark. Against this backdrop, Mthethwa, nicknamed Jazz by peers, became active in community efforts, joining the United Democratic Front-Aligned Klaarwater Residents Association. This group was part of a broader network of rent boycott organizations in areas like Chesterville, Lamontville, and Hambanati, all challenging the homeland policies of the time. His involvement extended to youth structures, including the Klaarwater Youth Organization and the South African Youth Congress. After the ANC was unbanned, he served as the first secretary of the local branch in Klaarwater. Education played a key role in his path. He pursued a degree in community development at the University of Natal and later earned certificates from Rhodes University and the University of Johannesburg. His political rise continued through the ANC Youth League, where he became regional secretary for Southern Natal, working alongside figures like Mzwandile Mhlenzi, a neighbor from Nobo Street. Mthethwa's home in that area was later demolished, reportedly on his orders, and the site has since become an informal dumping ground. Nationally, Mthethwa's profile grew, earning him a seat on the ANC Youth League's executive and eventually a position on the ANC's National Working Committee, a key body for decisions between conferences. By 2004, he chaired Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Minerals and Energy, then advanced to become the ANC's chief whip. His loyalty to the party led to cabinet roles, starting in 2008 when President Kgalema Motlanthe appointed him Minister of Safety and Security. Under President Jacob Zuma, the portfolio shifted to police, and Mthethwa stayed in charge until 2014. His time as police minister included significant events that shaped public perceptions. One pivotal moment came on August 16, 2012, at the Lonmin Platinum Mine in Marikana, where police actions resulted in the deaths of 34 striking mine workers. Interestingly, President Cyril Ramaphosa was a director at the mine at the time. The incident drew worldwide attention, sparking debates on accountability and rights. The Farlam Commission of Inquiry later cleared Mthethwa, along with then-Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa and Mineral Resources Minister Susan Shabangu, of direct blame. Still, the shadow of that day lingered over his career. Mthethwa also faced scrutiny in the Ngandla scandal, where the public protector criticized his decision to label President Zuma's homestead a national key point, allowing for state-funded upgrades. Further allegations surfaced during the Zondo Commission on State Capture, which examined claims that 196,000 rand from a crime intelligence fund had been used to build a wall at his Gwambonambi home. Reports also suggested he used a state-purchased Mercedes-Benz SUV, though Mthethwa denied these, noting the brand was not to his taste. In 2014, he moved to the Ministry of Arts and Culture, which expanded to include sport in 2019. This period saw initiatives mixed with debates, such as the proposed 22 million rand monumental flag project, a 100-meter-high flagpole meant to symbolize unity. Public outcry led to its cancellation after nearly 2 million rand spent on studies, but the Auditor General deemed the costs proper. By 2022, Mthethwa's standing in the ANC had diminished, missing out on the National Executive Committee. President Ramaphosa removed him from cabinet in March 2023, but appointed him ambassador to France later that year, in December 2023. Even in his diplomatic role, past issues resurfaced. Mthethwa was on a list of politicians potentially called to testify before the Madlanga Commission and Parliament's ad hoc committee, both investigating claims of political interference in the justice system. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi testified that, as police minister in 2011, Mthethwa had attempted to stop charges and disciplinary actions against crime intelligence boss Richard Mdluli. Mkhwanazi described it as a shocking interference, clashing with his own focus on pursuing criminals. The ad hoc committee had proposed names like Mthethwa's, though no final decisions were made. The Madlanga Commission has not confirmed if it contacted him before his death and has paused hearings until October 13, following a witness's sudden illness. Mthethwa's connection to his roots remains strong. Before heading to France, he helped ensure that Mariannhill's oldest resident, 107-year-old Sarah Ngobo from Clarwater, received a proper home, working with local councillors. Ngobo passed away in April of this year. His ambassadorship placed him in a new arena, but echoes of his past followed. Comparisons have been drawn to other diplomats' deaths in Paris. 21 years ago, in October 2004, the Central African Republic's ambassador Nestor Combet-Negman, aged 60, fell from the 6th floor of his residence in what was ruled a suicide. Within South Africa, Mthethwa's case recalls other high-profile figures facing allegations who met similar ends. For example, KwaZulu-Natal ANC spokesperson and former Umzimkhulu municipality mayor Mlugeki Ndobe died by apparent suicide on November 6, 2020, at his Durban home, amid withdrawn charges related to the murder of ANC Youth League Secretary-General Sindiso Makaka. As investigations continue, the family's refusal to accept the suicide narrative keeps the story alive. They await the autopsy and insights from the South African team, hoping to resolve what Sfiso Buthelezi calls the mystery.
Are you any closer to understanding why you think your brother-in-law apparently took his own life?
Definitely, that remains a mystery to all of us. We are nowhere closer to understanding that, to knowing that, so nothing has changed as far as that position is concerned from us.
Government officials have explained the deployment as a show of care for a serving ambassador, noting that France would likely do the same if roles were reversed. No diplomatic tensions are expected from this collaboration. Meanwhile, despite French police releasing Mthethwa's death certificate at the weekend, his family is still awaiting news on when his body will be repatriated and when they can travel to France. Speaking while in France, Mthethwa's brother-in-law Dr. Sfiso Buthelezi confirmed that the death certificate has been issued and released. Buthelezi said that this meant that the repatriation of the body should begin. However, the late ambassador's uncle, Musaoguphila Mthethwa, said the family was still awaiting to hear from the South African government on when the family will be able to go to France.
The death certificate was acquired yesterday, and we got the death certificate. The importance of the death certificate is that it allows, for instance, the embassy to start dealing with their processes, because there are processes of repatriating somebody who's no more. So, which is a very important thing. It allows the Department of International Relations to also do what it's supposed to do as far as this process is concerned. It also allows the health people to start looking as to what are the requirements and stuff. So it's very important as far as that is concerned, that it allows processes which require that somebody should be certified dead before you start getting into those processes. So it has unlocked it. That's the importance of the death certificate.
But you are also still waiting for the autopsy to be finalised. Have they given you a sense of when that will occur? And is there any understanding of why it's taking so long to finalise the autopsy, or is this common standard procedure?
Remember, I'm South African, so I don't know how long the processes take here. But I think if you take the circumstances under which the ambassador passed on, I think they would want to take whatever precaution they want to take. I don't know. But they said to us latest Tuesday. Remember, that's what they said. So they are still within the time frames that they had given us. That's what we communicated. But I think we'll be able to get it by Monday. I think that's when we're receiving a death certificate, we're trying to inquire, but they've never. That's not an official position. They said latest Tuesday. We're still looking at that, but we think we are going to be able they are going to be able to finish the autopsy by Monday. South Africans would know that culturally there are some cultural rituals that we do when we take somebody from one place to the other, and that thing, the people who must do it are the Mthethwas. So they'll decide who's that person or who are those people who must do that. As a Buthelezi, I can't do the Mthethwa rituals. Remember that Philisiwe is married to the Mthethwas. She's a Mthethwa, so it's them who can do that. So they'll decide exactly who's going to do that.
Born in 1968, Mthethwa's path from township resistance to international diplomacy reflects South Africa's post-apartheid journey, full of achievements and challenges. Delving deeper into his early life, Mthethwa's family ties trace to the village of Mthethwa in Gwambonambi, which he considered home despite growing up in Klawater. The township's resistance to apartheid structures shaped his worldview, with community groups like Clara pushing back against forced relocations and poor services. His role in the rent boycotts connected him to wider networks, building alliances that propelled his career. As regional secretary in the ANC Youth League, he navigated internal party dynamics, gaining mentors and experience that led to national roles. In Parliament, his chairmanship of the Minerals and Energy Committee involved overseeing policies on resources, a critical area for South Africa's economy. As chief whip, he maintained party discipline, ensuring votes aligned with ANC goals. His ministerial appointments under multiple presidents underscored his reliability, though each role brought scrutiny. Family members like Sfiso Buthelezi stress waiting for full reports, including the autopsy due tomorrow, before drawing conclusions. They acknowledge the text message as a fact but question its origins, suggesting possibilities of external influence. The hotel's CCTV, showing solitary entry, is another fact they weigh, yet it does not fully convince them. French police have shared that no other individuals appeared on footage, reinforcing their initial suicide finding. Still, the South African team's involvement could examine phone records, hotel logs, and other evidence more closely. Major General Maqhashalala's leadership brings expertise from crime detection, potentially uncovering overlooked details. As repatriation plans advance, the government coordinates with DIRCO, ensuring respectful handling. This case, unique in its diplomatic context, highlights protocols for such tragedies abroad. The story continues to evolve, with investigations probing every angle. The family's belief in foul play, paired with Mthethwa's apparent foresight of death, creates a narrative ripe for discussion. What do you think really happened to Nathi Mthethwa? Was it suicide, murder, or something tied to his cultural visions, and why do you believe that? Share your thoughts in the comments below to join the conversation and help unravel this mystery.
I'd like to extend, even for our family, direct sympathies and condolences to our brothers here who are siblings of Philisiwe, because they grew up in the same house. So in a nutshell, this is why we're here. But all we are wishing for, really, as two families, is if this whole thing of investigation can really be hastened so that we can do what we have to do as families, have closure, and then start healing. We can't do that right now because of all these things bouncing around in social media, in the media, everywhere about Nathi.
Thanks for watching this news bulletin. Please share your opinion in the comments section. We would be glad to read and respond to your comments. Let's meet again tomorrow in our next strange story. Have a focused and efficient Tuesday.